Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher and I have woken up listening to the Rocky theme music in my head this morning because who doesn't like an underdog story? Well, Netherlands take on Australia today in Delhi and can we expect another upset? We'll find out. Let's ask our rock-solid experts Dinesh Karthik and Bhattacharya. Welcome to the studio, gentlemen. Welcome back, DK. It's always lovely to have you back in the studio with your really nice-looking shirts. So that's always a topic of discussion, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm doing a shirt derby out here. So there are only two serious candidates for me. That's Parthiv, PP downstairs and DK upstairs.
Oh, so they are competing.
I am going to put up pictures of them in this thing. It's a friendly competition, but they are like seriously setting a scorching pace. If only Bangladesh had put up such a fight yesterday.
Well, if only. I don't know if you're over the game or not yesterday because it was a very, very long game. It took us, it tested our patience for sure, DK.
Look, I was at the ground. It was a rather tedious game, must admit. South Africa were brilliant at the bat. They were really good. And then on the other hand, you had Bangladesh, who's been struggling in the tournament. What I want to speak about is the underdog story. And, I want to applaud for what you said. When we were discussing about the top four before the tournament started, she actually said that I think Afghanistan will do well. And it's only fair to say that there were three cricketers, not that she's not a cricketer, she's a cricketer, and she said, I have soft corner for Afghanistan. So, the likes of Virender Sehwag, Zaheer Khan, Dinesh Karthik can all, talk tactically and, bring all the nuances that is there about the sport. But I think emotion plays such an important role, and I think she spoke from the heart, and she really felt for them. And it is so good to have a good underdog story. Who doesn't like one? And I think you topped the charts when it came to that, and kudos to you for that. But that was quite a good shout at that stage in that tournament. But it is so good to see them, and today we have another underdog playing. Bangladesh, I don't think we should call an underdog anymore. They've had some great, they've got enough and more history. They have been playing the tournament for some time. And there's a brief phase between 2015 and 2017 when 2015 World Cup, they went to the semi-finals. In the Champions Trophy, they again went, semi-final, quarter-finals in the 2015 World Cup, semi-finals in the Champions Trophy. But post that, I think they've been rather disappointing. But Afghanistan is quite the story. But today it's all about Netherlands, isn't it? The House of Orange.
Absolutely. House of Orange. The Orange Men, as they call themselves.
No, DK is being very kind because fans like myself only speak from the heart. We have no other analytical sense which everyone else here at Cricbuzz has. So we only speak from the heart. And well, the heart always wants an underdog story. Netherlands take on Australia. Netherlands has upset South Africa. They came very close to Sri Lanka. They took to the 48th over. What can we expect from them, Joyda, today?
Tough, because this is a resurgence of Australian side who had a tough start, but of course 2 tough matches to start off with.
Yes.
But after that, the last 2 matches, they've looked good. Their batting is looking good, and I think they want to make a statement. See, if this is what you call the hump match. Okay, 4 matches over, 5th match is your hump match. You get that, and now after that, you're in the latter part of the tournament. There's 4 matches left. So they will look at it as an easier match with all due respects, and they will really want to make a statement out here. It's a small stadium. Apparently, the pitches are looking quite good at the Orange Italy this year. So, yeah, they would want to really make a statement out here.
But like Joyda is saying, they'd like to make a statement out here. DK, they've played Netherlands in 2003, 2007. They've won comprehensively. But the Australian team in 2003, 2007 were almost like the untouchables. They were just so good. Nobody could touch them. This Australian team is looking like a little meeker version of what they were. So, like I said, is there something which Netherlands can pull off today?
After seeing them play against South Africa and Dharamshala, I've become fans of how well they play the sport. They're tactically very astute. They go for matchups. They look at all of that very seriously and use that in the game. They are the only team where the substitute, after every wicket falls, will run to Max O'Dowd and give a piece of paper which has the new batsman walking in, and there will be all the field changes, the matchups and everything. So Scott Edwards, the captain, has a look at it and then goes on with what he feels is the right option at that stage. So my point being, they're very, very meticulous. They have a method to what they've been doing, and hence they're playing good cricket. They're the only team which has not been blown away. They're the lowest ranked team, but they're the only team which has not been blown away by any of the teams that they've played against so far. So as much as I would love an upset, all I can say is I just wish it is a better match than the one we just saw yesterday, where they're fighting. Australia at times can feel the pressure, can feel the heat in Delhi. that's what I expect from Netherlands.
Well, we saw an upset in Delhi the other day, but we'll have a look at who Australia is going to be playing next because, like you were talking about, Joyda, this is that hump match. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
That's right.
So from here on, we have a look at who they're going to play, and they play Afghanistan and Bangladesh in their last two games, but they also have New Zealand and England.
No, absolutely. So they need to win this one and win it with a decent run rate. Because again, the point I was making yesterday, at run rate, the closer, the later you go, the more difficult it is to change run rate because the weight of your previous matches is much more. So they really would want to make a statement. Of course, I'm putting the cart before the horse. They'll want to first ensure a good win. Probably that's why they're batting first as well. That you're batting first, put a big total on the board, then try and do something about it. So I think they are trying to, this is a match where they want to make an emphatic win. It's important for them because you're right. England is a big match. There are a couple of really big matches to follow. And if they can win those two, they'll fancy themselves against Bangladesh because see, 3 wins here. 2, if they can pick up one more, that gives them the 3rd win. 2 of those 4 they think they can beat. If they make it 3, they're safe, absolutely.
So they win today, DK. You can say that they're going to be looking at a comfortable spot in the top 4? Or it's still very up in the air?
Just like I was saying off air, it becomes like a Formula 1 table, There is the toppers, and then there's a mid-table clash, and then obviously the bottom has its own, fight, so to say. So because South Africa won yesterday, they've now comfortably gone to 3rd place. If Australia win this match, they go with a 2-game gap between the others. So that's a big gap, and that will be difficult to bridge as the tournament progresses, especially in terms of run rate. And there are always trends in every tournament. In this tournament, the trend has been that the only upsets have been caused by the teams who bat first. If you see the 3 upsets by the lower ranked teams have been caused when they've batted first, put up a total, and they've found a way to defend it, be it Afghanistan or Netherlands. So I think Australia have done the right thing by choosing to bat first and bat long. The teams that have batted well in the first half, and more often than not, because the pitches have been good, they do put up a big total. It becomes too much for the smaller teams to cope with. And toss is half the match a lot of the times in ODI cricket, especially in conditions like these. And you think Australia has a massive head start with this toss.
All right, well, they've won the toss. They've started on a winning note. We'll have a look at Australia's playing 11. Just that one change there because Cam Green is in and Stoinis is out. But that big discussion that everyone was having, Joyda, does Travers Head come in? He clearly doesn't make it to the 11. Not sure if he's not fit or he just doesn't make it to the playing 11. But any surprise?
I'd be really interested in finding out. I also feel genuinely that if Cam Green is in, Stoinis has got something, got a niggles, got something physical. Because they seem to have been set, they seem to be getting a few overs out of him. I see no reason for them to want to experiment for no reason. But what do you think, DK?
I definitely think he has a niggle because you have to, if you just jog your memory a little bit, the first 2 wickets against the Pakistan game, he got it for them, Abdullah Shafiq and Imamul Haq. So he's a vital cog in their team. They trust Stoinis a lot more because of the experience he has. They feel Cameroon is slightly undercooked and understandably so. He's a young guy, he's just started out in international cricket. But if this change has happened, I think it's mainly because of the fact that Stoinis probably has a niggle. What is surprising is Mitchell Marsh last evening coming and saying Travis Head is available for selection. But I think he was just playing around a little bit. I don't think he's available as of now. And if he is available, there is no way that they could leave him out considering who's batting at 3 and 4 and how ordinarily they have done so far in the tournament, especially Steven Smith.
But considering like you play around when you have, maybe if they're playing in England, I don't know why he would like to play mind games when they're playing Netherlands. So yesterday we had this whole discussion of if Travers Head comes in, who goes out, does Manas go out or not? But clearly he's not playing and he's not fit enough. But even Travers Head made a statement saying that I'm feeling good, I was in the net. So a little confusion there.
Also, I like the way you played it because pronouncing the second name is difficult. Going with Manas is an easier option. I will remember this from now on. I will remember this from now on.
Manas Labuschagne I get. I couldn't pronounce yesterday.
But he's actually not called Labuschagne. His right pronunciation Labuskagna.
Sorry, we'll
But
okay, now
that.
It's
fine.
Manas.
This is
We'll
it,
stick
guys.
to
You've
Manas.
all heard it. Labush Kagna is it.
Yes.
That's what you're going to stick to. Done.
Oh,
I stick to Manas.
Manas is better. Even I would stick to that. First name.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at Netherlands playing 11 because I don't think they've gone ahead with any changes. Like DK was talking about, they have a fixed strategy they go ahead with. So no surprises there, DK. They're going with the same playing 11.
Same 11, and they bat deep. They have one of the teams which actually bats till number 10. In fact, number 11 is Aryan Dutt, who came and hit a couple of sixes. So this is like the England team. The the 2019 England team, if I may say so. They bat
I'm glad you clarified. I'm so glad you clarified.
I mean, they've gone different to whatever the ideologies were. Anyway, we'll speak about England when the turn comes. But Holland is a Netherlands is a very, very good team. They were called Holland till 2011 World Cup, post which they've changed to Netherlands. And it is a team which definitely can pose a threat if you're not up to the mark on any given day. So amongst the minnows, I've actually enjoyed watching them the most, I have to say.
You know, Joda, like he's saying, he's enjoyed watching them the most. 2003, they got their first World Cup win, and now it's 2023. We spoke about this yesterday. Has Bangladesh grown as a team? Has Afghanistan grown as a team? But what do you see with Netherlands? What do you see their progress has been like?
Look, I think they've been very, very good because, you know, we were talking about it yesterday, Aryan Dutt and his father, his family and all. There are about 7,000-8,000 people who play cricket in the Netherlands. Okay, football is by far the biggest sport. Okay, 5,000-7,000 people. You're talking about 160 million odd in Bangladesh. You're talking about 250 million odd in Pakistan. You're talking about 30-35 million odd in Sri Lanka. 1.4 billion in India. So just look at the number of actual people they have to call upon from that pool, and the kind of results that they've got with that pool. And I think that is actually phenomenally creditable. And like you, they're first bench students, you know. They do their homework. Like he said, they do their homework all the time. They are never out-thought.
Yes.
They are never out-strategized. They just sometimes don't have the talent that the big teams have. But that's what he loves about them, because you are always going to beat the Netherlands. They're never going to come and beat themselves. And for this team to qualify, remember, this qualifying tournament, 5 of their top players were not playing because they were all playing county cricket and they could not. The Netherlands board could not afford to pay for them to miss out on county cricket. With that, they went and qualified and came out here. So we are talking about their just being here is a serious, serious effort. I mean, and after that, to beat a team like South Africa is, I mean, they have already, as far as I'm concerned, seriously overperformed.
Well, you know, we've spoken about how they strategize, how they've overperformed. I feel the captain who's been leading from the front, Scott Edwards, is someone who has played in Australia. He's played domestic cricket. He's won the Ryder medal as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he's coming from there and then coming into Netherlands, wanting to make Netherlands a team to look out for in the future. So he's clearly leading from the front, DK.
He's had a fabulous tournament. He played a pivotal role in them qualifying as well. Captains beautifully. And with his bat, he's been extremely effective. He uses the pace beautifully. Spinners, he loves the sweep shot. He is one of those guys who are hard to bowl to between 11 and 40 and has a good game between 41 and 50. But beyond the cricketing skills, I think he has a very good head on his shoulder. And he's a leader of men. You can see he has the support and the respect that a lot of the captains should have going around world cricket. Some of them don't, interestingly. But Scott Edwards definitely holds that card in the Netherlands, where people definitely gravitate towards him with a lot of respect.
Well, he's got his head on his shoulder, but there is no head for Australia today, and Cam Green is in there. But a little bit on Cam Green, Joyda.
She's getting way better, isn't it? She's segueing now. I see the Ryder Cup medal coming in. She's
that was a little bit of study.
I just want to tell everybody, in case you meet her backstage, she'll come and say, I don't know what to speak. I'm very, very scared. I'm nervous.
She's those students used to hate in school. They'll come before examinations and say, oh, I'm not prepared at all. What have I done? When you come out, they say, nahi, acha nahi hua. Then when the results come out, you feel like slapping them.
This is where we should talk about Cam Green now, because he will want results to be shining high for him. The Mumbai Indians fan that I am, we know what he can do, but he has to kind of go out there and make a mark for Australia, which he's not been able to so far, you think?
Look, there are 2-3 things. One is that Cam Green came and, you know, one of the reasons he did very well and got picked up by the Mumbai Indians was because he was brought in here and he opened the innings. And he had that opportunity for 4-5 matches to open the innings. And opening the innings is what you call, it's a easier role in that sense than batting at 5 or 6, because 5 or 6 is a role where every time your role could change. You could be coming in with 180 for 2 with 5 overs left. So it all depends on the situation. So Cam Green came there, played his natural game and flourished. And they actually batted first quite a few times in that thing. So he's got a lot of talent. There's no doubt about the fact that he's got talent. He bowls at a certain clip, 140 odd. He can put in 135, 140. But he is definitely not a finished product. He has not been in such pressure situations. And if you have all-rounders, of the other all-rounders of quality around him, at this point in time, I think he'll be very happy to play behind them and get the opportunities he had. Having said that, I feel that 5 or 6 is perhaps not the easiest place for him to bat.
Well,
Yeah,
DK
I
would know
genuinely
that. DK,
believe,
the pressure of batting there
true.
and what it is.
It is hard work, and if I have to be blatantly honest, I don't think he's ready yet. Number 6, he is not the guy you want at number 6.
So where would you like to see him?
I would love to, if they play him right now, I would love to see him at number 3. I think he is a very, very good cricketer. He enjoys playing in the power play. I understand if Marsh and Warner are there, but at 3, he'll be a great fit. I mean, he can bowl 140. He is somebody who's a very good fielder, be it in slip. He's got a great wingspan. He can take catches that not many can reach. He actually, for Mumbai Indians, was such an important player. And he started, like Joyda said, opening. But then he was shifted to number 3 once Rohit and Rishan started batting. And he did phenomenally well in these conditions. All he requires is a consistent run at number 3, which I think post the World Cup will happen for him much higher in the order. And then they will get the best out of him as an ODI player. I think they've sorted him out in Test cricket. They exactly know what they want out of him. With T20 cricket, still a bit of a work in progress, but he's consistently shown whenever he's played in white ball cricket, he's got the talent. It's only making him used to a certain role which he can revel in.
Well, someone who's revelled very well in the role is David Warner, and the way he's opened, because at 163 in the last match, they had no idea what to do. When David Warner gets going, I don't think any bowlers have any idea what to do, Joyda.
Absolutely, and you should never show this to Osama Mir. Just never show this to him, 163, 124, 134. See, the great thing about David Warner is why he's one of the greats. Is that if you give him an opportunity and he sees there's a chance for him, the pitch is suitable to make runs, he rarely misses out. If you see his IPL record, he's an IPL GOAT because 600 plus seasons, one after the other. See a season where David Warner has missed 600, it's a season where he was actually dropped by SRH. But otherwise, he's like metronome. And what he does well is, if he's batting with another person, the other person's hitting the ball and taking a few risks, he will take his time. He'll settle in, he'll get in there, and then he will make it count. In pure consistency, perhaps he's the greatest batsman in international cricket today.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Warner made a statement saying that, in ODI cricket, we think we don't have time, but we have a lot of time on hand. So, which is why we see he always gets those big knocks. The 163, he's got, I think, 750 plus scores is what Warner's got. If you see the highest ODI scorers, his name is just constantly there, DK.
6 out of 12.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why he's saying that he feels the time is less, because we in the studios feel like there's a lot of time in ODI cricket. It definitely feels like that.
A bit too much time.
At times. And a match like yesterday, even longer. But you can see why he's one of the greats in white ball cricket from Australia. He's somebody who's been big run getter, and that Graham Gooch statement always lives with me. You need to get those big daddy hundreds. He's been someone who's very consistent with that. Whenever he's got 100, yes. I think he goes on to get a big one. And just like what Joyda said, he's been an IPL great for sure. He is phenomenally good in IPL. There are very few seasons that he's gone without scoring runs. And, he's going to walk very soon into the sunset, and understandably so, just, dip his feet a little bit in leagues outside of international cricket. And he'll do that for a few years. But for the moment, he has a massive role to play. He needs to get runs for himself and for a little bit for me as well, because I told that he'll be one of the highest run getters in the tournament. So, no pressure, Mona. But on a serious note, he's a very tough bowler, very tough batter to bowl to, because, he's slightly short in stature. But what he does do very well is pick length up. So if he bowls slightly good length or short of good length, if you remember, I think the shot of the tournament was what he hit of Haris Rauf so far. Unbelievable shot, unreal shot. And then he sets up the bowler to bowl full when he actually goes downtown, and that also he's very good at. So he is one of those batters who have come from outside of subcontinent, who can play spin and fast bowling really well, and hence the record in IPL and for Australia.
Tell you a very interesting story. When we were in 2009, end of season 2008-2009 starting, the coach of KKR was John Buchanan, who at that time obviously knew all the Australian coaches and everyone. And the assistant coach was Matthew Mott, who was the coach then of the New South Wales team. Now, of course, he's the England team coach at this tournament. And they spoke about this young man, the two people who they thought that KKR should pick up immediately. One was Moises Hendricks, because he's this big all-rounder, very much like Cam Green, bowls at 140, whack the ball, he's that. And the other is a certain David Warner. And the thing about him was that, okay, he's talented, not yet, nobody knew how good a batsman he was. But one thing they said about him is he's totally ambidextrous. So he says that he is the one person who even in the nets can bowl with both hands if he wants to, bat with both hands. So they have never seen such an ambidextrous player in their lives. And from there, saying that, okay, we're talent, and then actually Delhi picked him up and he knows he was in the Delhi team with him. He's just turned his career around. And the thing about David Warner is that he's actually in some way he's a more combative kind of guy, seen from the wrong side of the tracks. He can be rough when you meet him in the beginning because he's not a polished this thing, but he is just made his place. And every time authority has sort of pushed him away and said, you don't belong, he has smashed his way into the club.
Well, we spoke about the Beckham documentary yesterday, but what I really like is Warner's spoken so much about Candice, his wife, and how she's been such a big influence in his life. But you spoke about him walking into the sunset. Do you feel it's almost like he knows this is his last World Cup, so you can see the emotion on his face, right? Every time he gets out, he gets a big 100, you can see that emotion on Warner's face.
Absolutely. I mean, look, he knows that the time is coming very soon, so he wants to make best use of whatever opportunities he gets, and it's not going to be too much. He knows it, and that LBW, I don't think he's still over it. He still feels that it's not out.
I don't think anyone's figured that out. Yes.
Absolutely, and I think, like in many ways, he used to be called the Bull, and they used to call him the Bull, and now he's become reverend. That's how much he's changed. Like literally, he's become very calm, and everything he wasn't before. I think post marriage, he's changed into one. So he's been quite the cricketer. Like he said, very rough and raw at the start, but gone on to polish himself into quite the player in the recent past.
Well, there's someone I'd really like to see a matchup is Aryan Dutt. We spoke about him yesterday as well, Joyda. He's been extremely impressive. Do you think he can be that one spoke in the wheel you feel for Netherlands and just the Netherlands spinners overall? They've been doing very well.
Yeah, look, they would have said that this is the wrong Arun Jaitley Stadium to land up, and these were not the pitches. If they were the pitches 2 years back that you had, they would have had a much better chance. These pitches are playing far truer. But Aryan Dutt's great quality is that he and Colin McCammon have very often taken the ball in that first 10 overs. And for an off spinner against right-handers to take a ball at that time is very difficult. Here at least they have one left-hander to bowl at, David Warner to bowl at. But it's not going to be easy, and he has done this job throughout the qualifiers, and that's a very, very important role for them. See, if you look at teams, a lot of teams, they really look for is a three-stage bowler. Somebody who can bowl at the front, somebody who can bowl a bit in the middle, and can bowl at the death and due. Now, Aryan can't bowl that much at the death, but he gives you 2 stages, definitely he can bowl for you. And like Mujib does a lot for this thing. So these are important because even for a captain's plans, if you have that flexibility on your bowlers, and I think both Ackerman and Dutt give them that flexibility.
Well, DK, Aryan's spoken about how he really looks up to Ash a lot and he wants to meet Ashwin and kind of understand how he plans his game, how he's increased his longevity. So he clearly has a correct hero, doesn't he?
Oh, for sure. He won't get anything till the World Cup finishes. Soon after the World Cup, maybe. He's very impressive. It's been a tournament where there is a massive difference between how well finger spinners have bowled and how much the wrist spinners have struggled. The 3 wrist spinners who stand out and come to mind are obviously both the Rashids and Kuldeep to a large extent. Zampa has done really well in the last couple of games, but the others have found it really hard. The finger spinners across teams have done very, very well. There's quite a few to name. Let's not take many right now, but Aryan Dutt for Netherlands has been the go-to bowler, especially in the power play. The one area they lack is power play bowling because they tend to go aplenty, and that's the hole he's arrested in terms of how well he's come about there. There's always a right-left combination, and he's able to bowl very well to left-handers. One of the reasons why they surprised South Africa was the couple of wickets he picked up early.
Quinton, yeah.
And that was a big wicket as well.
We're talking about the Netherlands spinners and how they've been doing so well, Aryan Dutt doing so well. They, in their plotting chits that they're going to pass around, I'm sure they're going to discuss the Australian middle order, which hasn't really been performing. So if Netherlands manage to get those little early wickets they can get, we see the numbers here. The middle order, Joyda, has just not fired for Australia.
No, the middle order has just not fired, and as you look at it, you look at the number of options. That means it tells you the number of players that they've tried in the middle order. There are 2-3 things that have happened with Australia. Really, in the last one year, last 2-3 years, Australia has not really taken ODI cricket that seriously. T20 cricket, Test cricket have been their priorities, and that's been a clear decision from Cricket Australia. So what has happened is that you've had a lot of tours. If a player has a chance of missing out on a tour, it's more likely tends out to be the ODI tours. So when you see that many batsmen, it will also tell you that they have not played too many settled 11s. I mean, before this tournament, the last 15 one-day internationals where your captain has played 5 out of 15. So it tells you where they are. So a large part of that middle order problem is the fact that they've not had a consistent middle order at all. They've not said, okay, this is slotted in.
Labushkagna.
Labushkagna has just come in now. I mean, if you literally, he's made it now in the last, just before the World Cup again, he's made it in the South Africa series, again as a injury substitute. Exactly. So again, we are talking about, so if you're not going to have settled players out there, you're going to have results like this. And I think that is the one big problem Australia has. Normal Australian teams who have won so many World Cups are teams who have played. You walk in, Steve Waugh knows he's going to bat at this position, Gilchrist is going to bat out here, McGrath is going to take the new ball, Vaughan is going to follow. Everything is set. This Australian team is not set because ODI cricket is not their priority, and that's something we have to understand.
You just spoke about it, DK. You said that, you'd like to see Cam Green at 3. So like Joyda is saying, they don't know who has to play where yet. In considering what Warner and Mitch Marsh did in the last game, they managed only 58 after what Warner and Mitch Marsh did. So
it's unfair to say they don't know whom to play where. I think they know. If you see their batting order, it's been the same. 3 Smith, 4 Labuschagne, 5 it is Maxwell, 5 English, 6 Maxwell, 7 Stoinis. That's the ideal combination for them. But what has happened with Head going, each one went one spot up, and that was a big miss for them. And secondly, it's a great point what Joyda just said, with the scheduling happening the way it is right now, where every year there is one major tournament, so either the World Test Championship or the ICC Champions Trophy or one of the World Cups, T20 or 50 overs. The immediate requirement would be to prepare for that tournament, which would mean that they're preparing mostly for T20s because it comes around every 2 years, and it is going to be a bit of an issue a lot of the times. That is one that a lot of the teams are aware, and then you're going to see the team that doesn't do well in the World Cup is always going to point fingers and say, we were preparing for that. If you take England, they've had a quite a tumultuous time so far. And understandably so, they also haven't played too much one-day cricket as a group together. Whereas India, in many of the cases, have managed to play it because, India plays so many matches, so they end up playing the team a lot more than others. Pakistan, on the other hand, won't have that excuse. They have other problems. But it is a case in point. But again, post this World Cup, we'll see quite a few retirements from this Australian team as well. And then the likes of Cameron Green will have a much stronger say. And I think they'll have a very different team in this Champions Trophy that's going to take place in 2 years' time to the one that's taking part today. Very different team.
All right, it's that time of the show, Joyda. I'm just very happy whenever you're there because I don't have to read out the complicated questions that
I promise
said.
now I'll write proper notes for you because I do. These are two very, I have to write them to fit in. So I only write that. The next time I'll write larger notes at the back.
It's all yours.
Here goes the question coming. This cricketer whose name also means a type of knife played just one ODI. In that game, he shared his debut with a future national captain. Name him and the player he made his debut with.
DK?
I'll take 3 days to decode that question.
Yeah. The player's name also means a knife.
Type of
knife. I think that at least is Googleable, right? At least that is
the types
Googleable.
of knife you have to Google first, then you figure out which one it is, and then you work backwards.
I'm saying at least this can be Googled. So I think it's...
Good luck.
You're being poker-faced. He's being poker-faced about it. We're not going to attempt it, but I'm sure we have a whole lot of answers
I'll give you one
already.
hint. I'll give one hint for the people watching.
Okay.
It has some relevance with the game today.
But that we always know. All your questions have relevance to the game. That's not a hint at all, Joyda. Okay. So we do not take that. But now we go to doing what is most important on Cricbuzz Live. Yesterday, Mr. Bogle came back after he was not well. And
was he in form?
He was in form. He got the first prediction bang on right.
I think that did more for his health
than
anything else. He was more excited about that. He got it bang on.
So DK, because you've come back to the studio, Joyda and I were here yesterday, so you go first. 361. Okay, I'm going to go with 374, considering 428 was scored in Delhi, right? Yeah. So 374.
Okay, 345. I mean, I might as well because I can't think of going above 374, so I'll...
So 374, 361, 345. Well, we are all expecting a big high-scoring game, and maybe Warner and Marsh do what they do again. We'll wait and watch. Now we will go eat some lunch because that's the second most important thing we do at Cricbuzz Live. Even if Gaurav Kapoor is not there, we manage to order good food. We'll do that. You all go have your lunch, but don't forget to join us at the 15 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. See you soon.